Death. It's the one thing that unites every single person on Earth, but it's still the biggest mystery of all. What happens when you die? Is it peaceful, like drifting off to sleep, or something more terrifying? Today, we're diving into the eerie, the scientific, and the downright spine-chilling truths about what goes down when you take your final breath. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this. Let's start with something that might keep you up at night. You could actually know when you're dead. Seriously, your brain doesn't just shut off the second your heart stops beating. In fact, studies suggest that your brain stays active for seconds or even minutes after your heart stops. And get this, some people who've been revived after being declared clinically dead report hearing everything around them. Yes, that means hearing doctors say, "Time of death, 2:43 p.m." Imagine being a silent observer of your own death. It's like your brain tries to understand what's happening before it shuts down completely. Scientists call it the brain's final attempt to process reality. It's like a horror movie where your brain just can't let go. Once the brain starts winding down, the body goes into its own process. Muscles relax, and waste in the system may leak out. The gas buildup in your body escapes, causing a nasty odor. It's not pretty, but hey, you're dead, so who cares, right? In rare cases, men might even ejaculate after death. Women, if pregnant, might experience a phenomenon called coffin birth, where the gases in the body push a dead fetus out of the womb. It's morbid, but a strange part of the decomposition process. The body then begins to cool in a process known as algor mortis, or the death chill. This happens until your body's temperature matches that of the surrounding environment. And then comes rigor mortis, where the muscles stiffen usually within 2 to 6 hours after death due to the lack of blood flow and calcium buildup in the muscles. Ever heard of the death rattle? It's that weird, gurgling, rattling sound that people sometimes make as they're nearing the end of their life. It's one of those things that once you've heard it, you're not likely to forget. But what exactly is going on when this sound occurs? Well, it happens when air moves through the throat and upper chest as the body begins to shut down, with the muscles relaxing and the person losing control over their breathing. It's as if the body is making one last effort to hold on, but the inevitable is starting to take over. Some people see this sound as the soul's final struggle, a last gasp of life before the spirit departs. It's almost as if for a moment the person is caught between the physical world and whatever lies beyond, and the sound is that transition. But is that really the case? Others argue that it's just a biological response, an unintended consequence of the body's processes shutting down. The muscles relax, air can't move as efficiently, and the result is the rattling sound we associate with death. Some may find comfort in the idea that it's merely a natural part of the body's final moments, while others may find it deeply unsettling, perceiving it as a haunting reminder of mortality and the fragility of life. Okay, now let's get graphic. After death, gravity begins doing its job. Your blood starts pooling in different parts of your body, leaving dark patches on your skin. Then rigor mortis sets in, and your body stiffens up. Within hours, the body starts decomposing and bacteria begin their feast. Skin loosens, blisters form, and soon the smell becomes unbearable. It can be described as a mix of decaying flesh, vomit, and a clogged drain that's been left for weeks. It's as nasty as it sounds. Eventually, your body goes through putrefaction where the soft tissues break down and liquefy. While bones, hair, and cartilage hold on for a while, everything else breaks down quickly. Within a month, if exposed to the elements, your body will turn into a watery mess consumed by insects and animals. Even if you're embalmed, the decomposition process slows down but doesn't stop. It could take 8 to 12 years before your body's reduced to just bones. After about 50 years, even your bones will have no trace and they will become a part of Mother Earth. How quickly this happens depends on a lot of factors like temperature, humidity, and the way the body's handled. But one thing is certain, decomposition is inevitable. As your brain runs out of oxygen, things get pretty strange. Many people who've had near-death experiences report seeing tunnels of light, feeling weightless, or even encountering shadowy figures. But not everyone has a peaceful experience. Some describe terrifying visions, dark figures, creepy whispers, or the chilling sensation of being sucked into a void. So, are these just the brain's last-ditch efforts to fire up before it shuts down? Or do they suggest something deeper, something we can't yet explain? The million-dollar question: what happens to you, your consciousness, your memories, your very essence after death? Some believe consciousness continues on in a spiritual realm or afterlife. Others, especially scientists, argue that consciousness is simply a byproduct of brain activity. When your brain stops, so do you. But then there are the stories of those who've been clinically dead and revived. Some describe a total void, no light, no tunnel, no angels, just nothingness. It's eerie to think about, but it might make you reflect on your own existence. Here's something weird: the shared death experience. This happens when people near a dying loved one claim to see or feel the same things as the person passing away. Imagine sitting by your grandmother's bed and suddenly seeing a bright light, or feeling a sense of peace just as she takes her last breath. Is this a psychological coping mechanism, or could it be something more? Something almost supernatural? Here's another unsettling fact: the human nose can detect the smell of death. As the body decomposes, it releases chemicals like putrescine and cadaverine compounds so strong that even cadaver dogs can sniff them out from miles away. For humans, this distinct smell is often noticeable around graveyards or near dead bodies, where decomposition is taking place. The scent triggers a deep, primal fear response, a way our body tells us to stay away. It's a creepy reminder that even in the face of death, our instincts are still working. Let's take a moment to look at how different cultures view death. For Tibetan Buddhists, death is seen as a transition, not an end. The soul enters the bardo, a state between death and rebirth, where its actions in life determine its next journey. In some parts of Indonesia, families treat deceased loved ones as if they're still alive, keeping the body at home for weeks or even months. They do this as part of the grieving process, staying connected to their loved ones. These rituals show that no matter where we are, we all struggle with the concept of letting go. Despite all our scientific progress, there's still so much about death we can't explain. For instance, why do some people who've had near-death experiences report feeling a sense of oneness with the universe, or seeing deceased loved ones guiding them back to life? Are these just chemical reactions in the brain, or do they point to something more, something we can't yet understand? It's a mystery that continues to haunt both scientists and those who have been to the edge and returned. Now for a twist. What if death didn't have to be the end? Some scientists are exploring ways to upload human consciousness into machines, essentially creating a digital version of yourself that could live forever. But here's the chilling question: would that digital you really be you, or just a copy? Imagine being trapped in a computer, endlessly aware but unable to truly live. It's a concept that blurs the line between salvation and nightmare. So, what really happens when you die? We may never know for sure. Maybe it's a peaceful transition to another realm. Maybe it's just lights out. What we do know is that death is what makes life precious. It's a reminder to hug your loved ones, chase your dreams, and live as if every day could be your last. Because in the end, it's not about what happens when you die, it's about how you live while you're here. But here's a thought: what if the way we live is the key to understanding how we die? Something to think about, right? If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on more thought-provoking content.